begins. In a remote farming village surrounded by dusty roads and endless fields, there lived an old farmer named Samuel. Samuel was not rich. In fact, many people considered him one of the poorest farmers in the entire region. His clothes were worn, his house was small, his farming equipment was old and rusty. Yet despite all his hardships, Samuel owned something he valued more than anything else: a 50-acre piece of farmland that had belonged to his family for generations. The problem was that the land seemed completely useless. For years, rain rarely fell on Samuel's farm. The soil was hard and cracked. Seeds struggled to grow. Harvest after harvest failed. While neighboring farmers produced bags of maize, wheat, and vegetables, Samuel often harvested barely enough to feed himself. People in the village constantly questioned him. "Why do you keep holding on to that land? It's cursed. It will never produce anything. You should sell it while someone is still willing to buy it." Samuel would smile quietly and continue working. Deep down, he could not explain why, but he felt connected to the land. Every tree, every stone, every inch of soil carried memories of his father and grandfather. To him, selling the farm would be like selling a piece of his soul. Years passed. The village slowly expanded. A new highway was built nearby. Land prices began increasing. Investors started buying properties from local farmers. Many farmers accepted the offers immediately. Some moved into modern homes. Others started businesses. Life seemed to improve for everyone except Samuel. One afternoon, a businessman driving a shiny black SUV stopped outside Samuel's house. The businessman introduced himself politely. "I'd like to buy your land." Samuel listened carefully. The offer was more money than he had ever seen in his life. Enough to build a new home, enough to retire comfortably, enough to never worry about money again. The businessman smiled confidently. "Think about it." Samuel looked toward his dry fields. For a moment, he imagined accepting the offer. His struggles would end. His worries would disappear. But something inside him resisted. Finally, he shook his head. "I'm sorry. The land is not for sale." The businessman stared at him in disbelief. "You're refusing this amount?" Samuel nodded. The businessman left frustrated. News spread throughout the village. People thought Samuel had lost his mind. Weeks later, another investor arrived. This one offered nearly double the first amount. Again, Samuel refused. Months later, a third buyer appeared. His offer was even larger. Again, Samuel said no. His family became concerned. His children, who lived in nearby towns, visited him one evening. "Father," his eldest son said gently, "we know this land means a lot to you, but you have struggled your entire life. You deserve comfort. Please consider selling." Samuel remained silent for a moment. Then he spoke. "When your grandfather gave me this land," several months after Samuel rejected the third buyer, strange vehicles began appearing around the region. They were unlike anything villagers had seen before. Large trucks, scientific equipment, groups of experts carrying maps and instruments. Nobody knew exactly what they were doing. Rumors spread quickly. Some people believed a mining company had arrived. Others thought the government was planning a major construction project. One morning, a group of geologists arrived at Samuel's farm. The team leader approached politely. "We would like permission to conduct some surveys on your property." Samuel was confused. "What kind of surveys?" The man explained that they were studying underground rock formations. Their research suggested the area might contain valuable natural resources. Samuel agreed. For the next several weeks, the experts examined his land. They drilled small test holes, collected soil samples, used advanced scanning equipment. Their activity attracted attention throughout the village. People became curious. Some even laughed. Imagine finding something valuable under Samuel's useless farm. It would take a miracle. Samuel ignored the comments. He simply watched as the experts continued their work. Then one day they left. Life returned to normal. Months passed. Nothing happened. The villagers forgot about the surveys. Samuel returned to his daily routine. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday morning, everything changed. Several government vehicles pulled into his property. A group of officials stepped out. Along with them were representatives from a major energy company. Samuel immediately sensed something unusual. The visitors asked to speak with him privately. Inside his small living room, the lead official shared astonishing news. The geological surveys had revealed an enormous underground oil reserve, directly beneath Samuel's farmland. For several seconds, Samuel thought he had misunderstood. Oil? Beneath his land? The officials explained further. Additional testing had confirmed the discovery. The reserve was estimated to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Samuel sat frozen. The same land everyone called worthless. The same land investors mocked. The same land his family begged him to sell was now one of the most valuable properties in the entire region. The news exploded across the village. Within hours, everyone was talking about it. Within days, journalists arrived. Television crews appeared. Reporters lined up outside Samuel's home. The investors who once offered modest amounts now desperately wanted meetings. Landowners throughout the region rushed to investigate their own properties. The village had never witnessed anything like it. People who had laughed at Samuel suddenly treated him with respect. Others openly admitted they had been wrong. Even his children struggled to believe it. When they visited, they found their father sitting calmly on his porch, exactly where he always sat, exactly as he had before the discovery. His youngest daughter hugged him tightly. "Father, you're rich." Samuel smiled. "Maybe. But money doesn't change who I am." Soon, major oil companies competed for drilling rights. Each proposal was larger than the last. Millions. Then tens of millions. Then even more. Samuel had become the owner of one of the most sought-after pieces of land in the country. Yet despite the excitement surrounding him, he remained cautious. Because he understood something important. The greatest test was no longer surviving poverty. The greatest test was handling success wisely. And that challenge was only beginning. As negotiations continued, Samuel received offers beyond his wildest dreams. Numbers so large he could barely comprehend them. Friends encouraged him to take the biggest deal immediately. Financial advisors arrived almost daily. Everyone seemed eager to tell him what to do. But Samuel refused to rush. He spent months reviewing contracts, asking questions, seeking independent advice. Eventually, he signed an agreement that would provide long-term benefits for both his family and his community. The deal transformed his life overnight. Samuel became wealthy beyond anything he had ever imagined. Yet something remarkable happened. Nothing about his character changed. While many expected him to move into a mansion, Samuel stayed in his village. While others expected luxury cars, he continued driving a simple truck. While people assumed he would disappear into a life of comfort, he remained active in his community. Instead of spending his fortune on extravagance, Samuel focused on helping others. He built a modern school. He funded scholarships. He improved local roads. He supported struggling farmers. He helped families afford medical treatment. The same villagers who once questioned him now benefited from his generosity. One day, a journalist asked him a simple question. "After everything that happened, what is the biggest lesson you've learned?" Samuel thought carefully before answering. Most people judge value based on what they can see, but life doesn't always work that way. The journalist listened closely. Samuel continued, "My land looked worthless, yet beneath the surface was something extraordinary. The same is true for people. Sometimes the greatest potential is hidden where nobody bothers to look." His words spread far beyond the village. Soon, Samuel became famous, not because he discovered oil, but because of the wisdom he shared afterward. Schools invited him to speak. Universities discussed his story. Business leaders referenced his perseverance. Yet Samuel always emphasized one thing. He never knew oil existed. He wasn't holding the land because he expected wealth. He kept it because he believed some things are worth protecting, and because he refused to abandon hope. Years later, Samuel's story became a legend. Parents told it to their children. Teachers shared it in classrooms. Farmers remembered it during difficult seasons. The lesson was simple but powerful. Not everything valuable is obvious. Not every opportunity announces itself. Not every treasure shines on the surface. Sometimes success lies hidden beneath years of struggle. Sometimes rewards arrive after decades of patience. And sometimes the very thing others call worthless becomes the source of unimaginable blessings. As Samuel grew older, people continued asking whether he regretted anything. His answer never changed, no, because every hardship taught me something. Every failure made me stronger, and every year of waiting prepared me for what was coming. One evening, as the sun set over the land that had changed his life forever, Samuel stood quietly overlooking the fields, the same soil, the same property. Yet everything was different now. Not because of the oil, not because of the wealth, but because his story had proven a truth many people forget. Never underestimate what lies beneath the surface. Whether it is land, a dream, an idea, or a person. The greatest treasures are often hidden where nobody expects to find them. And sometimes, all it takes to unearth them, is the courage to hold on when everyone else tells you to let go. Narrator outro. If you enjoyed this inspiring story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more motivational stories about perseverance, success, and life-changing discoveries. And tell us in the comments, if you were Samuel, would you have sold the farmland or held on to it despite the pressure?